President Thabo Mbeki have just given the last warning to African leaders about what people of Africa think of them.
The people across on the continent, and if you continue ill-treating them, it's going to impact negatively on you people. To say that the longer you help to underdevelop Africa, the more you are driving the African populations into Europe. And you're going to start complaining about that.
Former President of South Africa, President Thabo Mbeki, have just exposed the African leaders. Wow, this is very interesting. You need to watch this video of former President Thabo Mbeki on how he gets to address African leaders and express his support to Captain Ibrahim Traore, who's the president of Burkina Faso. Who could have imagined this? Come to think of it, seeing someone such as Thabo Mbeki, who's one of the Pan-Africans in our daily time, today is coming forward and calling Africans, saying that they should all support Captain Ibrahim Traore because he has something very special which will liberate not only Burkina Faso, but the entire Africa continent.
In many instances, we ourselves don't understand ourselves. I remember, for instance, a few years back, when there was a coup in Mali. And many of us commented negatively about that. Say, but now Mali has had for a long time now no coups. It's a succession of elections and so on, this democracy that you're talking about. And then the Malians would say, you are saying all of that in admiration of Malian democracy because you don't know Mali. Because what has constituted democracy in Mali has been change of power between four families in these years when you are seeing this democracy. It's just rotation of among four families in Mali. It's nothing to do with the people. We are liberated now. Are the people governing? Is that finding expression in what actually practically is happening in South Africa? Fortunately, we were not asked to answer the question. I don't know how we would have answered. If he had said, please stand up and answer the question, I don't know what we would have said. But I'm saying that, you see, when you're talking about this democracy, is it capable of helping us in terms of solving these problems? I'm saying a first problem is a proper understanding of ourselves. We, in 2004, 2003, 4, 5, thereabouts, were asked by the African Union to help the people of Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, to solve their problems. And one of the things that I found there is a very thing I didn't know. Many of the Francophone countries had, as they gained independence, they signed agreements with France. An element of that agreement, for instance, in terms of the Cote d'Ivoire, was a joint security agreement. It's an agreement between the two countries that they will protect each other in terms of their security. As a consequence of which, France would have a military base in Abidjan. And the base was there. And the commander of the French troops, if the commander was of the view that the security of these two countries is threatened by whatever, had the power to take over radio and television in Abidjan and decide what happens in protection of that. And it's an agreement, and so we say no. This French garrison here, the commander, he doesn't listen to any president of Cote d'Ivoire. He can take over the country and say, in terms to protect the security of both our countries, I decide as follows. That's what is in the agreement. That's part of the rebellion of the soldiers in Niger, in Sahel, in Ouagadougou. Is against exactly that kind of agreement, that arrangement. Now, I'm saying that sitting away in South Africa there, I then get exposed to this thing that I didn't know. You have the elections that takes place. That's all you can see. But what you don't know is that they take place within the context of continuing French neocolonialism. It's got an objective limitation to it. Even in terms of money, so much of the foreign currency, the foreign currency that you earn must be deposited in the Bank of France, things like that. So I think that's the first thing. I mean, I don't think as Africans, unfortunately, I don't think we give ourselves an opportunity to say, let us understand one another properly. For people, for instance, to say, South Africa, there's the great unease across the continent about the way that South Africa has been going for a number of years because of the confidence and trust that people had in South Africa. And then they begin to feel that South Africa is moving away from, just to say, on the continent, let's engage in a process, maybe a peer review process, to get to understand the South Africa. That's not happening for often enough. Again, one of the speakers at Africa Day yesterday said he thinks the peer review system is dead because it was a very important intervention of this kind to respond to the question that you raised, because it would then intervene in a country to say it's a democratic country. But what does that mean? How is this democracy functioning? Is it capable of producing these kinds of results? And say it's not, therefore let's do the following. That's very important. So I don't think it's possible to answer the question that you are asking in a general way, because I think it will vary from country to country. But I think the question that was raised legitimately yesterday, when we say the people shall govern, and it didn't stop with South Africa. He said for the rest of the continent, when we say, are the people governing? And what does that mean practically? Does that fact that the people are governing, will it make sure that there's no war, civil war?
Wow. Did you know that French-speaking countries, before they get their freedom, they had a certain kind of a deal which they had with the Republic of France in order for them to leave them, but this deal, which is causing them until today? I doubt you did not know that. Did you also know that the French countries, they still continue to pay a certain kind of tax to France, all because of this deal they had signed before their freedom? Of course, I also doubt you did not know about this. But look at here. Former President of the Republic of South Africa, President Thabo Mbeki, he come forward and expose all these mafias, expose all these deals. Many people, they don't know about it. We are fighting on how to liberate ourselves against our former colonial. But there are certain kind of deals which our forefathers or our leaders had signed with these countries before this country gets to evacuate from Africa continent. And every time when one of African leaders want to do something against these countries, they will be reminded of this deal. And if they try to sabotage this deal, these African leaders, they will be kicked out through military coup, through assassinations, through any kind of maybe medical sickness or anything like that. Why? Because these African leaders, they are not allowed to talk about such kind of deal. They are not allowed to change things around. It is a secret many people out there, they don't know. You might ask a question, why French-speaking countries that are not that much developed compare even to other African nations? Well, how can they be developed when this deal says very well that we are going to give you freedoms, you are going to lead, but under our guidance, under our leadership. You can say whatever you want to say, but we need to approve. If we refused to approve, then you won't go ahead and accomplish whatever you had signed for. This kind of dealership which these people had signed with African leaders. So you are in your country, yet you are being controlled somewhere. You might even ask yourself a question to know why until today we're still having franc CFA. Franc CFA, it is a monetary which most of these French countries such as Togo, Gabon, Congo Brazzaville, Senegal, Burkina Faso of Ibrahim Traore, of course, even though he's planning to change that, Mali, Chad, Niger, all these Sahel region countries, or should I say French-speaking countries, these countries, they still using the money of their former colonial, which is France. By the way, France colonized Africa, yes, but they were the most, the country which had the most countries. France alone, they were controlling about 33 to 34 countries in Africa continent. These are the countries which France had dominate. And as they leave their leadership being imposed in these countries. Now, with all this being said, how will these African countries get to develop themselves when they still have to pay a certain kind of tax to France? When they still have to use France money, which it is France who have to decide how much they should print out for you, how is it going to circulate, it what currency, blah, 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 blah. This kind of deal, it is the deal which the three military leaders such as Ibrahim Traore and the leader of Mali and Niger, they have stood up and said that no, enough, it is enough. We are not going to allow this anymore. We are tired of all these kind of things. We want to have our own money. We want to have our own monetaries so that we can free up our economy and boost up our economy as well. Now you understand how much these people hate Captain Ibrahim Traore. It is more clear now. They have to hate him because the men have the vision to come and say that, no, I don't want that. And that is something which motivates President Thabo Mbeki. You heard him saying that, seeing Captain Ibrahim Traore coming forward and say that, no, I'm not going to come here and sit here and listen to what France have to say about Burkina Faso. I'm not going to come here and have to listen to what the USA have to say about Burkina Faso. I'm here and I'm going to be here for my people. And it is for that reason you see Captain Ibrahim Traore is now having a lot of enemies all over the world. They want to take him down. They want to destroy him because they know very well that if these men continue to stay there, which means we are going to lose our access to the Burkina Faso mineral for goods. Because by the time we try to tell them what to do around, these people, their eyes will be opened already. They'll be aware to know that we should not even try to tell them how to do things around. They just feel like, no, you know what? These people, they know now how to produce these minerals and sell it to the world market, and they know even who can be the right client for them in order for them to sell these minerals. The truth is being exposed. And the fact here is that Captain Ibrahim Traore is a man who come and say that, no, those your deals, I don't care about who you had signed it with. I don't remember all Burkinabe, they had elections or referendum in order for them to sign it and get to bring in an outcomer in their country affairs. So therefore, I don't need this at all. I don't need this kind of things. That is very interesting. And I'm so glad to see President Thabo Mbeki coming forward to at least educate the young generation about all this, because many people out there, many kids in the university or schools, they don't know about all this. And these are the things which we're supposed to be focusing in more, talking about these kind of things, instead of us sitting on TikTok or scrolling up and dancing, or maybe talking nonsense that does not even benefit us or make us grow as Africans. And this kind of topic are the topics which we need to be talking about, so that each and every African child should be able to know exactly of what had happened, or what what will happen for the future of Africa. So it is now more obvious you understand why Captain Ibrahim Traore is not being only loved by Africans, but even by African leaders who have a clean conscience, a clear conscience, if you have to put it in a simple English, a clear conscience on how to help Africa, so that Africa, it can get to liberate itself from the hands of the former colonials. The message is loud and clear. Now that you know that our fathers or our leaders, they had signed certain kind of deals with these former colonial countries, we need now to see on how we can cut this deal off and say that no, whoever you had signed with is not the ones leading the country. Now we're talking about us, people who are here, and we need to protect the future of our children tomorrow. This message should be more useful to you. Whenever you come across this kind of topic, don't just leave like that. Like this message, so that this message can reach even more people out there, so that everyone can understand exactly of what had happened. Guys, I believe that will be all for me. Thank you so much for watching watching this video. We really do appreciate your time. Like this video, drop us your comment in the comment section. Tell us also what you think. I mean, we're just discussing, isn't it? So we are discussing, we're having a debate, we're giving our analysis, but most of all, we would like also to hear from you. We would like to hear your opinions. So feel free to comment in the comment section. Tell us what is in your mind, so that we will also be inspired by what you have to tell us. I believe that is all for now. Continue to be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon in our next video. Ciao, ciao.